Thank you for listening to the Tatnus Podcast on the Tatnus Co. Network.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, a Mercedes kind of sentiment, luxury and trust in me to honor the free we all should be. It sees my sundial burst into yin and yang, right and left, me and you.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Tatnus Podcast, Season 3, January 2021, man. We're getting some things going here. For those of you that watch the show visually, you're going to notice a completely different look that I'm working on, changing a bunch of things. I got my team doing a bunch, and there's going to be some changes made. This show today is one of the best ones I've ever done, I think, in terms of how much fun I had. My guest was just awesome, you know what I'm saying? And I'm really grateful that it happened because... I'll keep this story short because I don't really want to get into it just because it's so stupid. But it almost didn't happen. In this business fucking sometimes is the root of why things just get fucked up. So, long story short, I was asked to censor myself on my own shit. That's never going to happen. Everybody knows that. So then I was like, okay, I don't deal with this company anymore. And therefore, she almost got fucked, but... You know me, I didn't feel that was right, so I hit her up on the side and said, as a friend, I would like to, cut the business bullshit, and I would like to have you on as a friend, because I don't want you to lose the opportunity if you're interested, because I think it's bullshit. And she was very cool about it and was like, hell yeah, let's do this. So I love that. She didn't want me to be censored on my own shit neither, so she thought the whole thing was fucking just, whatever. And so thankfully we did it, and I'm honored to call her a dear friend now. Super talented Jessica Thompson. Even her daughter, Anna Thompson's a hell of a kick-ass, badass singer. It's just so much talent in that family, dude. It's ridiculous. So if you're checking out the visual, then you'll see some things here that, that are different on the show. And we're revamping and, just kind of setting everything up. We got new studios coming. We got new equipment and everything that's going to really change the visual aspect of the show. We're transitioning into something kind of to accommodate both. Now, that being said, I would like to give a shout out to India for being so supportive of the show over the last few years especially. And Ireland and New York and, all these other places, man. Y'all are the best. I love y'all. Appreciate the support. All over the world, man. Everybody. And on January 21st, when all my fans reached out to say happy birthday, dude, that was the coolest thing. I didn't expect none of that. So thank you, Sweden, Russia, Germany, New York, and, fucking specifically New York, but U.S. in general. Ireland, everybody, man, y'all are so cool. I appreciate you. I didn't expect all that kindness, dude. It's overwhelming. It's very cool. So, anyways, man, this is a dope actor, actress, whatever you want to call it, that I just thought the world of. We had a great time, long conversation, but we talked about really deep stuff. We talked about just nonsense. It was great. We had a blast, and we definitely have to do this again. So, here she is, man, Jessica Thompson.
It's time. They're coming.
We can do this, right?
Of course we can. We've only practiced it like 1,000 times. We got this. You got your raincoat, right?
I can't find my contacts.
Wait, you can still fucking drive, right?
Yeah, Jessica, I got it.
Come on. Okay, sweetie, just grab. Come on, we gotta go.
You want a divorce? You ask me to my face.
Roberta! Back off!
Maybe you're behind this, huh, doctor? Always keeping her late? Calling her up for a ride? You always need something. You and your street rat kids.
Don't you dare! I do more for the safety of this group in one day than you've done in your entire life, you cowardly bitch!
All right, cool. So we got that out of the way. So yeah, I was saying off air, like, as far as the swearing thing goes, there's a hilarious story. I had Johnny Brennan on my show from Jerky Boys and Family Guy and all that. I grew up listening to this dude, just trolling people, and it was funny as hell. So off air, I told him at the beginning, I'm like, man, it's an uncensored show, so you can literally say whatever you want. He's like, oh, that's cool, man, but that's not me. I mean, some people, every other word in a sentence is fuck and blah blah blah. That's not me. I don't do that. Some people do. That's their thing. That's fine, but that's just not me. I only if it seems like it's needed. First thing on the air is I mentioned a call he made in character to somebody. He's like, oh yeah, man, my legs were all fucked up. The character, I tripped over a fucking cat or something, and I fucked up my legs and blah blah blah. It's like this right at the gate.
The gate is open.
Off air, I don't do that. No. Oh my god, it was so funny, and I was like, it's Johnny, man. Like, what else do you say?
Awesome.
I'm glad we're doing this, man, because all the bullshit we talked about, that sometimes business happens and whatever, and it is what it is. Sometimes business gets in the way, things get canceled, and it's like, I don't feel like that's right. So I kind of figured we'd set something up if you were interested in doing it still. And I loved your enthusiasm. Like, I thought, well, maybe, probably not my best interest, or, we can still do it or whatever. And you're like, hell yeah, let's do it. I love that.
Yeah, let's talk. I mean, the first thing I heard about you was that you were a real person. And if there's one thing that this world needs is more real people, especially in our industry. So somebody who has a show called Uncensored, and you just have no format and you're just going to talk about whatever happens and whatever comes up, I'm down with that. Yeah. I think that's really freaking cool.
I appreciate the hell out of that. I mean, I just, in my industry too, coming from MMA and all this other crap, you do enough interviews where you're asked the same boring questions, and it's not the interviewer's fault 9 times out of 10. It's they have a boss telling them, you got to ask this, this, and this. And the thing is, usually I find when someone asks you a question, you answer it, there's usually some follow-up stuff you kind of want to get in there, but they're already on to the next question that's totally unrelated. So you don't even get to, and it's always the same questions, and everyone thinks they're the first to ask the stuff. And it's like, you got to get creative on like rewording the same damn answers.
Yeah.
And it's so terribly boring sometimes, so I didn't want to do that to my guests. I'm like, you know what? Sometimes your guests just want to talk about anything but work. They're people. You know what I mean? As much as I'd love to talk about getting punched in the face every day, there's other things I enjoy, So I think some people really dig that, because every guest I've had, for the most part, have asked to come back, which is cool. I just, before coming on air, I got, how weird is this? Jan Birch from People Under the Stairs was on my show, and he hit me up on my birthday, which was cool, like on the 21st. And so did you. Thank you, by the way.
Absolutely. Happy birthday.
No, thank you. So he hit me up on my birthday, and I was like, fucking Jan Birch from People Under the Stairs is like wishing my ass a happy birthday. What the hell? Life is fucking weird. So he just hit me up saying he wants to come back on. I'm like, let's do it, because when he was first on, he was like, man, you got another guest in, at the end of this hour, and we're getting to that time, and you got to go do that. But man, if you didn't, I could have talked for 3 hours. He was sitting in his car.
That's the best time to talk sometimes.
Like, he was just sitting outside in his car just for privacy.
Yeah.
Outside his house on his phone, and wanted to sit for like 3 hours just to shoot the shit with me. I'm like, damn, that's cool. You grow up watching these movies and shit, and then it's like, oh, one day you're friends with these people. And it's like, that's strange to me, man.
Yeah, worlds collide. I mean, the entertainment industry, it's a small world.
It really is.
They used to say it about Kevin Bacon. Really, it's us too.
Yeah.
How many steps between you and I? Not very many.
Right. It's, that's so strange, but it trips me out sometimes when I do actually take time to think about it. I'm like, what the hell? If you look back at who I've had on, they all became friends of mine, and it's like, how the hell am I friends with somebody that played in Pink Floyd? How the hell am I friends with, the guitarist for Kid Rock? Like, what the fuck happened here? Like, when did this happen? And just people from like horror movies and things that I grew up with, and it's like, I remember going to the theater to see Rob Zombie's Halloween remake, and now I'm friends with Dig Fair. She played Myers as a kid, and I'm like, that's crazy. He was on my show, and now he's friends with me, and I'm like, never would have thought if you told me back then, I'd be like, get the hell out of here. Go smoke some more crack,
I think people with spirit and personality and energies that kind of are on the same level are just drawn to each other eventually. We end up just kind of bumping into each other, and, you kind of form a bond, because there's like, walking around in your own little bubble all the time. Some people are just on a, different level, and you just, don't really gel or talk or communicate on the same level. So energy attracts energy.
That's very true, because the first thing I noticed when you agreed to do this, regardless of all the politics and bullshit, was you're pretty much a no nonsense type of person yourself. Like, you don't have time for bullshit in games neither. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is cool. Especially with your reasoning for wanting to do it. I was like, so someone gets it. Okay. That's not often I come across that in this industry, but the ones that want to come back to my show are just like that as well. So I think you're right that it's it takes a certain mindset. I don't do the fake image bullshit, and if you got a past, own it. You know what I'm saying? Because when everything you do is public anyway, you know what I'm saying? So I'm in the mindset, if everything I do is public, whether I like it or not, then if you're going to be involved with me in any way, shit's going to become public real quick. If you try to screw me, it's going to be public. I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? If I can't have a personal life that's not public, I'll be damned if my business life's going to be all behind closed doors and all this shady bullshit.
That is a really good point right there. That right there, that's a soundbite.
I've
never heard it put that way. That's true. Everybody knows you. You can't have a personal life, so you damn well shouldn't have to.
And maybe it's petty, but it's just how I feel,
That's fair. Life's not fair, but that's fair. Gosh.
Like, I was in the gym the day after my son passed away, and I had strangers coming up to me offering condolences and shit when I just want to work out and just be on my own and left alone. And I'm like, how the fuck do people know this already? I found out from a fan before I was even informed. That's how I found out, because I knew his condition. It was like, it was a terminal condition, and I knew he was struggling, and I knew that it was coming down to the wire, and I'm out here trying to, make as much money and send back and whatever. And I find out from a fan through social media that offered their condolences, and then I confirmed it was true. That's where I'm at. Success can be a bitch, and people are like, oh, how can you complain about that? When shit like that happens, it's real easy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People forget that, it must be nice to have a normal fucking life.
Yeah.
Material shit's not everything. And
Right.
It's almost like you inadvertently sell your soul because you think, oh, it's not the way it appears. And then it is, and then worse, sometimes. I'm not saying it's all bad, but you definitely make some sacrifices, that's for sure. So I'm just trying to level the playing field. If I can't have a personal life and things that deeply personal are going to be public before it's even made known to me, then best believe if you're going to try to screw me business-wise or politic the shit out of me, that's going to be public too. If it's on my mind, I'm going to say it. If that's not for you, don't come on my fucking show. You know what I mean? It's just that easy.
Yeah.
If it's not for you, that's cool. I get it. And it's no harm, no foul. But like, I'm not going to cover people's shady bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm not going to hide that for you. If I wouldn't do it, like, I'm under the mentality of like, if you're embarrassed by the shit you do behind closed doors, you wouldn't want it made public, don't fucking do it. You know what I mean? Because if it gets out, How are you going to call somebody up and be like, hey, could you like not put that out there?
Yeah.
I don't even do a live show when people try to take advantage of that because they're like, oh, you can edit it. You can cut it. Yeah, I could. Doesn't mean I'm going to. You know what I mean? No, that's not across the board. Like I've had people on that have accidentally said some things and they're like, oh shit, I just looked through my contract, NDAs. I couldn't talk about that. I got you. Don't worry. I cut it. No one will even know that it was brought up. I don't even say their name. So then they can't get screwed by, oh, we heard a show where, you know, you were mentioned and it seems like you said something to someone. Who? I didn't say their name. No one's getting screwed by, you know, me. If I got to edit, you know, have my editing team go through the show for hours, so be it. They're going to find where you said it and cut it the hell out. So there's no trace that was ever even brought up. I'm not going to let people lose their jobs and shit over a slip up. So things like that I'll cut for sure. But, you know, I'm not going to censor myself to please anybody.
Right. I mean, realistically, everybody makes mistakes. And sometimes we make mistakes and we don't apologize because we didn't know it was a mistake. But once you're led aware that something hurt somebody, disappointed somebody, made them mad, screwed them over, you fix it. You apologize, you fix it. Just like, come on, people. You don't just, like that's part of, like, we're all real, right? We all screw up.
Exactly. And I'm like, you know, it's just that simple. Like, even with the situation we talked about, it's not, you know, some kind of beef. Like, I don't have any ill will towards anybody. It's just, if you associate with a certain type of people that have proven to me that they are unethical, then we're not the same. And we're just not going to work doing business together. And I use the word business very fucking loosely because let's be real, this was a favor. I'm not getting paid to do this shit. I offered, you know, a platform so people that are under you can, you know, that are dealing with you can get some exposure and, you know, promote whatever they want. I offered that as a favor. I'm not getting paid a dime. And then you're going to tell me how to do my thing. Like, come on, man. That's and the reason behind it being to save a relationship with people that are unethical. I can't in good conscience deal with people like that.
Yeah. Sometimes you just have to walk away from things. If they're just going to drain your energy and just take you out of where you need to be successful, you just have to walk away. And sometimes it's hard. Like sometimes it's hard, but sometimes it's just like, I don't know. Do we just get old enough that we're just like, I can't deal with that.
Right.
Like, I think it's a privilege. Like you having your show, you earned that. So whatever, you could have your show called, I don't think of something ridiculous. You call it what you want. Like, it's, unless you have like huge sponsors or something that require you to do this and this, it's your show. You earned it. It's like, I'm an adult. I get to drive and I get to buy alcohol and a lot of privileges because I got here, you know?
And that's just it. And I love that you said that because I've made it known time and time again, both business wise and on air, that I won't even deal with sponsors unless I myself would use the product or the service or whatever. I'm not going to promote something for a payday if I don't believe in it. You know, like, I'm sorry, but Tampax is never going to be like one of my sponsors. It's just, you know, it's just not happening.
Come on, you could do commercials. You're an actor. You could do commercials for Tampax. That would be a refreshing ad campaign, wouldn't it? Because they always have people like me going through the grocery store, getting the things, saying, oh, and then we're like, oh, do you feel not so fresh? Come on, let's freshen it up. We want to see a dude advertise this. We want to see what really happens. Because have you ever been sent to the store by your woman? Hey, while you're getting the Pepsi and the milk and the eggs, could you grab me some tampons? I would like the light ones and the regular. And get one of these little pads at the same time. And you're just like, seriously? That's the dude. We need that walk of shame. That's the ad right there.
You know, you're brilliant because with my screwed up mind, I would have taken that to a really weird level. I don't think I'm changing the tampon game. I think I'm making it weird and creepy. I would have been in there like, I need pads, man. I just ripped my tank, bro. I'm gonna need the heavy float. Because dudes do the dumbest shit and get injured and shit. So I mean, it would be believable. But it's hilarious that you said that. Literally that you said that too, because they made a documentary about my life, which is an honor, and it was heavy stuff. I had a really, really dark life. So I, a lot of abuse as a kid and whatever. I left home at 15, lived on the streets till I worked to get my own place. Never took nothing from anybody, and busted my ass to get where I'm at now. So I didn't want it to be like depressing to people. So there was a day where I was just, after, it's so draining having to talk about all that shit, like day in, day out, being filmed and whatever. So I started trolling people one day. I was in just such a weird mood that I was just like, I have to like add levity to this. So I literally sat there and when they were filming, it seemed really dramatic. Like I was really trying to think of how to like express what I was feeling. So I was just like, have you ever felt and pulled out Vagisil out of my pocket, like not so fresh? You can hear the whole crew bust out. And I was like, okay, for real this time, okay. And they kept it and they put it in the extras.
It's the unexpected moments. It's the unexpected photos, the unexpected moments, the things that are really true that are, I don't know, bring life to entertainment.
Right. And that was the second time, because that was after I said, okay, I swear I'll be serious this time. And they didn't know I had it with me. But the first time I talked about being betrayed very heavily, and people are like, oh shit, like they know some things and like this is going to be heavy. And I said, when people tell me good things, I really do want to believe it until I'm proven that, it's a lie. So, and then I pull it out of my pocket. I said, I bought this shit and my vag still stinks. I want my fucking money back, Vagisil. And they just about pissed their pants because they thought I was like serious. And then the second time I trolled them again, and they thought, okay, he's going to be serious this time. And then I hit him with that shit. And they're like, this is ridiculous. The whole day's a write-off.
Where did you get it, by the way? Did you have to do the walk of shame for that?
No, there was a bathroom nearby where it was just kind of sitting there. And I was like, oh, that's cool. I'm going to use this. I was like, this is fucking comedy gold, bro. Like, I need levity for these people because they look so depressed.
Yeah,
like,
this is meant to be.
So I was like,
That's so freaking funny. Right now, I'm trying to imagine, like, I've got so many questions, like, where were you filming? Was it a men's room? Was it a all gender identification bathroom? Or was it, like, what if it was a men's room? You'd be like, why is this Vagisil in here?
Right? I don't ask questions anymore.
Yeah.
Sometimes I regret asking when I find out. I'm like, you know what? That was none of my goddamn business.
In your pocket it went.
Right? Why not?
Yep.
And that's the thing, is like, I'm a fucking clown like that sometimes. Like, I'll just, if it's going to make somebody laugh and kind of make their day a little less depressing, why not? You got to have fun, man.
Absolutely.
You can't be serious all the damn time and always pissed off at everybody and shit. Like, I probably come across that way, but it's quite the opposite, really. It's just lately people have been getting on my last fucking nerves. Just tap dancing all over it, man.
Yeah. Well, you were just having a birthday, so there's something about that when you're about to turn a year older after you're done being in your 20s. You just like, really? Like, this isn't just about having a party and having fun anymore. Can't go see your friends. Well, you can probably because you're Canadian, because Canadian people are healthy. In the US, we are on house arrest. We're on house arrest still.
It's literally night and day where I come from versus where I'm at now. I was born in the Toronto area, and they are just being pummeled by this COVID shit. My grandmother just ended up with it. She's like 90 something now, and it's not good. But I left Ontario entirely and moved to Nova Scotia, where like we're not on lockdown. We can go out to restaurants. I went out for my birthday to a bar and restaurant, and you know, and in Toronto, that's just not happening. So it's crazy. It's like they don't listen to nobody. And then here, everybody's kind of doing what they should. So it's fine. You know, it's not like we're not getting 900 new cases a day. We'll get like maybe 3 at best, you know, on occasion. You know, so yeah, it's definitely different. But yeah, you're right. Birthdays and things like that too. And on top of it, the day before my birthday, my son turned 19. So I was like, I got a couple years left, man. Don't make me no damn grandfather before 40. He's like, I make no promises.
Oh.
I'm like, what the?
You're like, I'm sweating now.
And I was like, listen here. And he's like, what? I'm the same age you were when you had me. I said, I turned 19 the day after you were born, you little peckerhead. Don't fucking do as I say, not as I do, you little prick. I love him. He's a good kid. I'm so proud of the way he turned out. But I was like, I got a couple good years left before 40, man. Don't fucking do this to me. I just turned 38, man. Give me at least 2 more years. He won't. Fucker.
Yeah, he's got to keep, this is what keeps you young is your kids. You have to keep like striving to keep your head screwed on right when they frustrate you.
You know, but I'm so proud of him because we talked one night and he was like, I got to get a job, you know. I'm 18 now. This was like a year ago, actually. So he's like, I'm 18 now, man. I got to pay for shit. You know, he's like, I don't want things handed to me because who my dad is. Like your accomplishments and all that, that's great. That was all yours. I got to go chase mine. You know what I'm saying? Like you earned what
That's
you.
awesome.
Yeah, and I was like, damn, that's crazy heavy, because you know, it would be so much easier to just go anywhere and be like, hey, you know who my dad is? Like, give me a job or give me free shit, or you know, or let me get into any industry I want because you've got a foot in the door.
Right.
But
he has huge respect for you though, because he obviously knows you, because wouldn't that be a slap in the face to you? How would he look at you and be like, I know how my dad grew up and now he's successful. And so I'm just going to sponge.
Right.
No, he's not going to, you're not going to feel proud of him. He wants to make you proud.
I love it.
He doesn't have to fight as hard as you did to get where you are, but he is sure going to show that he's got fight.
Right, you know, and
pretty freaking awesome.
I love it, yeah. And he's trying to figure it out. Like, what do I want to do? I don't have a clue. And I'm like, you got lots of time, dude. I like, don't do that shit where 18, now I got to put pressure on myself. Like, I need to know what I want to do in life. I said, I didn't even become successful like this until I hit my 30s. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going on 6 years of this now, being known all over the world and shit. That didn't happen overnight. I wasn't 18. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
And I wanted to do all sorts of dumb shit. I went to college for business accounting. I knew how to do it. I just didn't love it. So then I signed up for the military, and then there's a 3-year wait list out here for the trades that I qualified for. So I was like, well, I got to do something while I wait. And then I walked into an MMA gym one day that was owned by a former pro wrestler that worked for Vince McMahon, WWE and everything. And he saw the size of me, and you know, I'm 6'5", 265 of muscle. He's like, you need to do this. You know?
That's something, you came in here with something.
Right. So I was like, yeah, that's kind of what I was here for. And I never knew that basically changed everything for me, you know? And then when your son's diagnosed with a terminal condition and screws his mom up, who you're engaged to, and she just bails on you because her focus is obviously not a relationship at this point. Because she even said, like, if he passes, like, I could never love anything again. And I was like, how do you argue with that?
Yeah, I can't.
No matter how devastated you are, like, how do you argue? It's so selfish.
Right. It's nobody else's decision. You can't make the decision if you're not in their shoes.
Right. So, you know, She became a nurse recently herself, which I love.
That's awesome.
She was like, in her 20s and had no idea what she wanted to do in life. She felt she had no talent, whatever. And this actually was a catalyst for something positive. So, I'm proud as hell of her for that. And, but it all just kind of led to me like having to do something to kind of make him proud, even though with his condition, he would never understand it anyway, even if he lived to be 20 something. He passed 9 days after his second birthday. But they gave him 2 weeks to live when he was born. So I have to respect that fight. You know what I mean? Like, that's a badass child right there. But so because of him, I also started a charity, which I was already doing anyway, where kids are involved. Every Christmas, I would find a bunch of less fortunate families that couldn't provide their kids with a Christmas, and I would buy brand new gifts for each one. And I have a rule of 7, and it's in my documentary about when I was 15 and living on the streets. And I was at 7-Eleven at like 3-4 a.m. or something like that, just kind of looking at magazines, just trying to get like a few minutes of warmth, because this is like middle of February, winter, and it was brutal.
Making yourself look busy in there.
Right. And I hate doing that, but sometimes you have to survive. And this RV kind of thing pulls up, and they're, the driver's getting gas, and it's an older couple, like, seniors. And she comes in to pay for the gas and grabs coffee and whatever she's doing. And I think she saw me and my age and just knew at this time of morning, he's here, like there's something, So she came up to me on her way out, handed me the coffee and a $5 bill, and was like, take care of yourself, and left before I could even say thanks. But no thanks. I don't take things from people. I don't want help from anybody. Like, I did this, like I made this choice and I have to, and, so I was like, that $7 gesture, 20 plus years later, I never forgot how that affected me, because I felt like, wow, somebody actually cares. And they don't know me. I could be a piece of garbage. I could be some punk, and that's why I'm out here for all they know. You know what I mean? Like, so it meant everything to me. So I had a rule of 7 ever since. So I found 7 families, 7 gifts per child, spent like probably $7,000 or something stupid, whatever, but it didn't matter. It's like, so that's my minimum. I have to at least find 7 families that really need the help. And sometimes it's just their circumstances. Like one family, they actually wanted to come pick the gifts, or they thought it was a gift. And I was like, yeah. And they said, yeah, thanks so much. Like, we didn't know what we were going to do for our daughter, because she's like, my husband's a roofer, so come winter, he's out of work and we're just getting by, and can't afford the luxury stuff of like gifts and whatever. I was like, no child should go without Christmas. That's bullshit. Yeah. So when they came over, they're like, so which one's hers then? And I was like, that pile there. They're like, what? I was like, just don't worry about it. Just, I got you. Like, don't worry about it. And they were like, my God. And I said, the heavy one, you might want to take that one. It's a brand new Razor scooter. That kid's not carrying that. Like, just, And they sent me a picture on Christmas of their daughter holding this. It was the only thing I got that was used, because I couldn't find new anywhere because it was so specific. It was a unicorn, because they said anything unicorn or rainbow. And it was a rainbow unicorn.
Oh my gosh.
I happened to see it at a store, and I was like, okay, this is not brand new, but it's the only way I'm going to find this damn thing. And the innocence of children, man. They sent me a picture of her squeezing that, hugging it. Out of all those gifts,
that's her favorite. It
was her favorite. And they just, the caption that they sent with it was, thank you for this moment. And I was like, God damn. Like, it hits you so hard, because you're like, you just affected somebody without realizing how much. But the innocence of a child, like, they don't care what the price was of any of this stuff.
Right.
The one thing that they flocked to was something someone had before them, and they don't even care about that.
Yeah.
They're not materialistic at all. And I thought, that's cool. That's heavy. That kind of like, it makes you think about life in general. Like, we should all kind of go back to that. We can learn from it, I feel. So.
also think about, like, in that moment, that child, that could have been her moment of 7.
Maybe.
Imagine what she's going to do with that moment.
Right.
With that rainbow unicorn, she has her 7. Like,
that's so true, because I had told them, like, you could say it's all from Santa. I don't do this for credit. But they're like, no, we want her to come with us to pick the stuff up, because we want her to learn that strangers should do things like this if they can for people. Because I want her to learn to do things like this when she has the opportunity. I want her to see that not all people are bad. Like, you know, you don't have to do this, but you are. And I want her to see that people care. You know, and I was like, that's heavy. And it's not my place to tell you what to do with this opportunity. Like, if you want to make it a learning lesson for them, by all means, you know. So I get that. And what I love is finding out on social media the next year, they were in a better position. They started helping families. They never hit me up saying, yeah, hey, we're doing this now to, like, look for credit or praise. I just happened to see it in a post in a group that they're asking any families that need help this year. We've got some stuff to donate. I was like, that's really cool. So it made them kind of want to do the same thing. So yeah, you're right. And it's really funny. I was looking into, someone mentioned something to me, like angel numbers and things like that. And that based on your birthday, you have one that's specific to you. And mine is 777.
oh, wow.
How weird is that?
That is crazy.
Yeah, because it's January 21st.
How do you figure it out?
I just
wonder what mine is.
Yeah, I just Googled it. I put in, like, angel number for, you know, January 21st, 1983, and they're like 777. I was like, that's nuts. How crazy is that?
I totally have to look mine up now.
Yeah, it's really trippy. And then it gives you a whole rundown of what that means. And, you know, but I thought, wow, of all things, you know, it's so heavy when you think about it, because it's like, I don't believe in coincidence. I just don't. You know, things happen for a reason. And that's just too coincidental. You know, a little too perfect, I think, to be a coincidence. So it's crazy. You know, when you look into stuff like that, it's like, what the hell? You know, it's so bizarre. But it was cool to be able to help people. And, you know, just the way I do things personally, I always feel like I never forget where I come from, because that allows me to take a minute to, like, look at where I'm at now, and whatever opportunity I have, really appreciate it. I don't feel like it's owed to me. You know what I mean? I hate that.
Right. And the fact that, I mean, you're an example for so many people have had it really, really bad, and they feel hopeless. And they look at people with success and say, well, you're successful because you had things better than me, or they were, you know, you were more set up or provided for, where you can't say that. You're not like, I had this amazingness and this is what got me where I am. No, you started from nothing.
Yeah.
Sounds like you had, basically living outside by yourself as a teenager, you had like less than nothing.
Right. The things that people take
you can
for granted.
start with less than nothing and create greatness and help other people. So, I mean, that gives people hope, and also like don't give up.
Yeah. I mean, I appreciate the hell out of that. And I think that's why I agreed to do the documentary. And I was like, this is not a poor me type of thing. This is dude, if I could come through that shit and still, my whole point was, you have no say in the hand you're dealt, but you decide how you play that shit. You know what I mean? And that's what determines. I made it clear. It's like, dude, I was literally asked to be a motivational speaker at some of the schools that I used to sleep outside of to get out of the wind in the little doorways when I had nowhere to live at 15. Because I got out of a bad situation. I left to get out of a terrible situation where it was like, you know, it was just necessary. And to be standing in those schools, that it's like, I remember the doorway that I used to kind of get out of the cold wind at 3 a.m. and just sit there for a while, you know. That's nuts. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that gives me chills, you know?
It's
Like standing there saying, I just walked through a doorway that I used to sleep in.
right, you know, and I was like, that is nuts. But I wouldn't change a damn thing. I don't look back at it and feel sorry for myself. I'm like, that had to happen.
Yeah.
You know, it was necessary.
That's part of what gave you your fight, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's a survival thing. You have to. You could quit on yourself. And that was literally that come to Jesus meeting that I had with myself one day where I was like, okay, you can freeze to death here and quit, or we can go to this factory place and do a physical job even though you don't sleep because you're too damn proud to be sleeping outside and shit. And, you know, and whatever. And that's what I did is I went and did the physical job, even though, you know, I had some pocket money for eating, but I would only eat when I absolutely had to. It was not a luxury. It was, okay, now the body's getting weak and shutting down. I have to put something in it.
Yeah.
Let's stretch this as far as possible.
You thought about it scientifically more than you took the emotion out of it because you couldn't let it hurt you because it hurt. Like you can't dwell on it.
Yeah, you know, like I look back at it, honestly, as screwed up as it sounds, I look back at it kind of fondly because it was a choice that was made for my better, you know, at that time, especially. And I knew it wasn't going to be easy. And I had so many people like, oh, you should live here and whatever. I said, I appreciate that, but I'm not your parents' responsibility. I made a choice and I have to see this through. I'm not their burden financially because they feel sorry for me or whatever. I made a choice and I have to do this, you know, and I have to fix this myself and make it better. So that was it, you know, because there was not going to be any long-term living with somebody and letting them pay for my, you know, every meal and bullshit like that. No, I'm not giving you another mouth to feed. I'll figure it out myself. You know, I made this choice. It's not your problem. It's not going to get dumped in your lap just because, you know, you feel like it's the right thing to do. Like, I appreciate that, but I got to do this, you know? So it was what it was. I mean, I don't feel sorry for myself. I'm not that person, you know? People are like, oh, I'm so sorry. At 10 months old, you know, your mom was out of your life. You never knew her. You have no idea where she's at. I feel sorry for you. I'm like, why? How am I going to miss what I never had? I have nothing to compare it to.
Well, and you can't control it.
Right. It's like, yeah, I see my friends and it's like, yeah, that whole having a family thing seems like a pretty sweet gig, you know, but I'm not going to sit here and like be envious and despise you for it. It's like, cool. You got what you have. I got something else. I got to handpick my family. I get to whoever I meet on the road and whatever that I trust or whatever becomes a family member to me. And if they need me, I'm there. If they want something, you know, I got you. But that's choice. That's not, you know, blood, because you could be related to some pretty shitty people, you know? So.
That's pretty cool. You get to make your own holiday rules.
Right.
You don't have to say, I can't promise to not fight with my cousin that I can't stand, that I have to see every year at Thanksgiving. You can just like find your new cousin, the one that you like. You
know, it's not many people, but but that's what makes them special when you do like them. It's not that I dislike people. I give everybody a shot until they let me down, and then I'm like, oh, this fucking.
There's a lot of assholes out there. Let's be honest.
Right? Like nothing.
You just like weed. You have to like kind of move to the side. I'm going this way.
Right. I mean, nothing is better for your abandonment issues than fucking people coming along using you and then leaving when you're attached. You know, fucking great. So you know, real fun. And then add success to it all. And then people give you every excuse.
Oh, then they really want to be up with you.
Yeah. Right. And, you know, it's usually because of who you know or what you can do for them. And you never want to think that. So you give them the benefit of the doubt. You let them close enough to put a knife in your back. And then it's like, oh, I'm dumb. You know? Yeah. I shouldn't let them near me. You know, and then you look back at the red flags and be like, oh, that was so obvious. You know, should have saw that coming, but you're too trusting. You're an idiot. So
it's a fine line, don't you think? Like between like being completely cynical and protecting yourself
Yeah.
and still being open, but not get them to the point where they've got the knife up, but they don't plunge it into your back. Like, how do you, like, that's a fine line.
Right. And then there's always that concern of the longer it takes for that knife, the worse it's going to be when it happens. Because you have a long history with somebody, and then, it just makes it worse. So then you're like, why bother at all? But then you're like, you can't do that. You can't just shut everybody out, because so many really cool people that, you wouldn't have known if you just kind of mistrusted everybody,
Yeah.
And that was just it, where it's like, remember that $7 gesture. You were raised by somebody who told you that nobody gives a shit about you. A complete stranger kind of just changed your life with one simple gesture that made you not a bitter person and not believe all that bullshit and be programmed to think that, in spite of the circumstances you're currently in, that was so necessary. I think that had to happen so I wouldn't be bitter, because that made me think, oh, I think you're wrong. So if you're wrong about that, then you're probably wrong that I'll never be shit. You know what I mean? And that I'm not going to be able to do anything in life because I'm fucking useless or whatever. So it's like, if you're wrong about one thing, what if? And that's all it took, was a few simple words. What if? What if you're wrong? What's it going to cost me to try, And then I think I did all right. So I think it turned out.
Well, homelessness is one of those issues. It's really important to me to eventually figure out a way to help, and particularly with teen homelessness, because I've got 2 teenage daughters and an 11-year-old, so she's almost a teen. But my older 2, as they went through junior high and high school, they tended to make friends with kids that sometimes needed things. And eventually I learned they were homeless. Like, some people, homeless is not what you think. It doesn't look like what you think it looks like.
No.
It just doesn't, especially with kids. And so you learn about their struggles, and the fact that they're down the street from your house in a car, in a church parking lot. And the fact that they're in that parking lot, it's because that's the church that everybody knows allows you to park your car there overnight if you're homeless. And they are quiet about it. But the fact that there is a whole society, but they still don't have a way out. There's not enough. We have services. I don't know how you have, how you organize your services in Canada, but in the US, we have services. There's just not enough. And there's not a very clear path to access. I've tried to walk people through, here's if you sign up for this, you have to do some paperwork, you will get access to housing. Yeah, there's going to be a list or a waiting list or whatever. But if you get in that program, then you'll have assistance with education, and there's grants where you can get clothing allowances and job help, and so many doors will open. But these are kids. They're cold and they're hungry and they're embarrassed as hell because they have to go to school 2 days in a row with the same clothes on, every day with the same clothes on. It sucks. So they can't think, oh, wow, oh, sure, I'm just going to go right on and do that. And if you do get them to that point, they have to wait. There's not enough beds, So there's got to be a solution. And I don't know. A lot of it, I think, is inspiring the kids, somehow getting them to, they have to take part in it and be willing. But it's a horrible thing to ask. You can't force them to have a will to go get it like you did. You had that fire. Some kids don't have that fire. Some never will, or some just don't have it yet. So how do we light that fire for these people sooner and provide the things that they need?
Right. And I feel like, for me, everyone's like, oh, it sucks that you were told you won't be shit and this, that, and the third. I'm like, really? Does it? Because that ended up being what motivated me. I had to make him eat them words, man. And that's what made me say, okay, you're not going to just lay down here and die. You're going to go come through this. And you're absolutely right. Like, I didn't have no car to live in.
Yeah.
But I, still try to stay off the radar. You don't want to draw attention to yourself. because you don't want people interfering. You don't want, and yeah, we got things like shelters and shit like that. But to my understanding, because I knew someone that was in one at one time, said like they were so packed that people were sleeping on the floor, and it was not even an issue with me. I was like, that's not happening because there's probably somebody that needs it more than I do. I'll stick it up, I'll stick it out here, and
In the cold.
I was like, I'll leave that that piece of floor for someone who truly needs it more than I do. And I just felt like I got this, and took time, but it was like, I even talked about it in the documentary about like, you could see people starting to kind of pay attention, like teachers, because I would go to my exams and I'm literally falling asleep at my desk while trying to do my English exam and like punching myself in the face, trying to wake myself up and stay awake. But it's the warm air and you haven't slept in days and it just puts you out, man. And it's like, it's not a good sign when teachers are starting to realize what's up because you're actually showing up to school. It's a warm place. It's suspicious now. Like, oh, you're here. What the hell? And then they realize things like that. And it's like, oh, this isn't good. But they never said anything. They just, kind of like, they didn't want to overstep, I guess. And, and then at one point, one of my teachers was like, so you ready to go home yet? And I said, hell no. I'll die before I do that. So he realized, okay, something's not right there. All right, dead issue. Not even saying another word about it. He never mentioned it again. I was like, good. Keep it that way. So that
Everybody kept his eye out for you. I bet that he was making sure you were okay. He was watching for warning signs if you were in trouble or something.
Right. Yeah. So I mean,
giving you some proper respect and.
Yeah, I think he admired the fact that like, man, this stubborn bastard's gonna do this on his own, and he didn't want to interfere with that because he was like a gym teacher, but then he was teaching this class, but then he was also a guidance counselor.
Was it science?
What's that?
Was the class science?
No, it was like this class for people that I guess just didn't really do anything. Because obviously I had my own shit going on, so school was not my priority.
I think in college they called that underwater basket weaving. That was the class. It was called underwater basket weaving. No, I asked if it was science because I had a teacher in junior high, a science teacher, Mr. Benson, and he just was able to reach people. He became a football coach. And he was the weightlifting coach and stuff in my school. And he's still connected with, probably a couple hundred of us from high school. And he is just like a dude that, grew up poor with nothing but a set of great parents. And he ended up being a teacher. And then he had children and they all went to Ivy League schools. And he just had that fight. But he would be somebody that would like see you in the gym, like teaching gym class, teaching science, weightlift coaching, but he'd get through to people. I love teachers like that.
Yes, that's awesome. That's so valuable. It's funny, we had a name for the class ourselves.
Oh no. Rocks for jocks.
We called it dumbass class.
Dumbass class.
And we're like, that's so insensitive. I'm like, we're the ones in the class. We can say that shit. We're the achievers. We're here for a damn reason. We know why. Our grades blow. And this was literally a brick room, like the big, cinder block kind of painted yellow and no windows, just a door.
That sounds like ISS.
Right. See?
Did you have ISS?
I think it's probably the same thing.
We had in-school suspension and it was out in a portable. You had to go out to the portable and it was like this weird wood paneling thing with these rinky stairs, and Miss K was in there. Miss K, and she just sat behind the desk and she was low key. She really was nice, but she sat here and you were way on the other side. And there was never another kid in ISS. It would be just you, and they would just kind of, somebody would deliver this little packet of like, here's your homework. I just went to your classes, and they would like kind of put it on the step, and then Miss K would open it up and flick it to you. You'd be like, and you'd be, where's my work? God, you hear the bell ring 3 times. It's third period. It's like, oh man, when are they going to bring me some work? Because we didn't have iPhones.
Right.
We didn't have fidget toys.
No, we didn't have none of that shit. So this class, one thing I respect is that this teacher made us play chess.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
With each other. So I thought that was pretty cool because I never knew how the hell to play until I learned from doing that. And I was like, this is actually kind of cool. You know, this is fun because you really got to think. And I'm like, well, that's the intent, obviously. But then by grade 11, because I had to drop out after that because I had to work full time. I couldn't balance school and work anymore. It was just too damn much. And, you know, this whole having a roof over your head thing was kind of nice. So, you know, yeah, so I got kicked out of that school and they transferred me to one near where I was living in this ghetto where I grew up. That was like a 3-floor high school. It was so ghetto that they had cages on the ground floor windows just to keep people from climbing in. And
and stuff.
Yeah, it's a violent place. I mean, they call it Canada's Compton because it's just, you know, terrible. And so I was there for 11th grade and they transferred me, of course, to like the most basic classes, like I'm some kind of idiot, you know, because obviously they're history. And we had a teacher, like you were talking about, that was super like strict and to a point where it was annoying. And it was for English. So I hand in my stuff and I'm sitting there and I say something to somebody and she calls me up. I'm like, what, man? I'm doing my work. Like, what do you want from me? She's like, well, that's just it. I'm looking at your work and it's actually better than a lot of my advanced OAC students. And you're in 11th grade. What are you doing here? So I'm going to send you to your counselor and have him switch you over to advanced English. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I'll fail. That's cool. You know?
I don't care about my GPA anyways. Whatever.
Yeah, right. You know, so I went down and he was like, well, since we're going to put you in advanced English, why don't we put you in advanced everything? I'm like, because she was like, you're not an idiot at all. Like, they just didn't know what to do with you. They didn't know how to challenge you and make you like, you're actually brilliant. So I was like, you know, they're like, we're going to put you in all advanced classes. Like, okay, cool. So instead of failing one, now I can fail all of them. That's cool. Thanks. You know, good looking out. So
hard work.
I end up going to these classes. So it's all new people, new faces and whatever. I ended up with like a 95 average in every class. And then I dropped out because I had no choice.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck happened here? But it was cool.
That's pretty awesome though. So like your GPA, consider that was that's where you proved what you had the ability to do for the 4 years of high school.
Yeah. And then, I mean,
some people longer to figure it out.
Yeah. So, I mean, you know, my personal assistant was like, see, that shows why you're so business minded because you were never dumb. It was just, you were bored by this bullshit they were giving you because they assumed you're like an idiot, you know, that didn't know how to do basic shit. And it's like, this sucks. Like a 2-year-old could do this. Why am I? So what I respected, and I actually, you know, I had a bad attitude about it at first, but I got into advanced English. And the first thing they had us do was read To Kill a Mockingbird. And I absolutely loved it. I was like, this is actually really cool. And then it just sucked me into that class where I'm like, because I always loved English for some reason. But, you know, I really got into it. And I was like, maybe this is for me. And I was like, math is going to be the hard one. Turns out I'm really good at math. I just hate it. Because I got like a 95 in math. And I was like, what the advanced math? Like, we're talking hard shit. And then to go to college, even though I was a dropout, I had to do like 18 hours worth of like math work to get in for business accounting. And I had to pass 8 tests in one day.
Holy cow.
And they were all different types. And they were like, you should probably wait instead of January, maybe wait for spring. So then you can get this done over the course of time because nobody's going to be able to do this. You know, 8 tests. Because we're talking like, compound interest for mortgages type of math, and then algebra and all this other bullshit in between. And they're like, hey, it's free. You're free to do it. We can't stop you, but just know that like who's going to retain that much?
Yeah.
So
like, basically it's impossible.
Right. I did 8 tests and I hand them in, and she comes up to me and she's like, I don't know how the hell you did it, but congrats, you're in college.
Yeah, because they told you couldn't. I mean, that's it, man. You tell me, like, it's reverse psychology. They had it even back then. You can't do this. Nobody's going to do this. And you're like, fuck that. I'm doing it.
Right. And I'm under, I'm the same mindset of Schwarzenegger, where like, it's like, if you tell me no one's ever done something before, I get excited because that means I could be the first to do it. Doesn't mean like I'm going to write it off and be like, oh, okay, well then I guess I can.
That's so awesome.
And they were like, you should try for spring. I said, no, my birthday's in January. This is my gift to myself. I'm going to fucking college. And that was it. My mind was made up, and they were like, all right. And I felt like I got this vibe like they almost wanted me to fail just so they could be like, I told you. So I was like, I'm not giving you the satisfaction. Even though that probably was just in my head, because that's what motivates me, I guess. I had to fucking, create this scenario that probably didn't exist. But, it's what got me through. It's like a mechanism that gets me to do the hard shit and just be like, they want you to fail, right? Shove it down their throat. You know what I mean? And it could be the opposite. It could be the complete opposite. And, that's kind of like the military. They're hard on you, but they want you to succeed. It's funny like that. It's crazy. But now my son's talking about going to the military.
Oh, wow. How do you feel about that?
I don't love the idea, but I mean, it's Canada. Like, what are we going to do? I'm sorry, everybody to death. Like, sorry, eh? But I think he wants to do the trades type thing like I went for. And not so much like, infantry type of shit. So that's okay. But I mean, it's still dangerous, but we never go to war anyway. We just try to like, we're busy drinking and playing hockey. We don't want to fucking fight.
That's what hockey's for, right? This is where you like get rid of your extra energy and your anger. You go play hockey. That's why they let them fight on the ice, right?
Exactly.
Like, please fight. It's part of it. We're gonna penalize you, but please.
Right. Get it out of your system. Whereas America's like, hey, I smell oil over there. Let's go bomb these some bitches.
Which really makes no sense, because if they keep bombing, won't the oil like explode and then there will be no more oil?
If they want Canada's support in these kind of things, just lie to us and be like, they have maple syrup over there. A whole
totally.
They have syrup rigs.
I have some really good friends that are Canadian, and they still accept me as a friend, even though the last couple of weeks in America, it's been pretty embarrassing at times. But my kids have grown up with their kids, and we've gone on vacations together. My kids are convinced that Canadian money smells like maple syrup.
It actually does now.
What? I'm like, no, it doesn't. They're like, no, Mom, it does. See? And I'm like, no. Oh, okay.
It's really funny. When we started with these new bills, they're like plastic.
Yeah.
I was like, there's this small hint. I'm like, why does my wallet smell like a fucking IHOP? Like, and I was like, oh my God, it's not in my head. Because bank teller was like, get out of here. And she sniffed it. And she's like, oh my God, you're right. It's got this like weird hint of syrup smell to it. Like,
how do they do that?
I have no idea, but it weirds me out. I'm like, stop it.
Has anyone really admitted, any of those money makers, have they admitted that, yes, we do put a maple extract in the paper pulp, plastic pulp?
Not that I've heard, but you never know. But I mean,
so
now
would be a trick.
Right. But now our bills are waterproof because they're like a thin plastic.
That's smart.
They do kind of look cool because like they'll have a patch down the side, like a strip where it's actually see-through. And I was like, oh, that's cool.
That's really cool.
yeah, it almost feels fake, but we just started those, like, I think 7 years back or something.
Yeah.
So
Our money's still super boring here in the US. I mean, they still make it out of paper. I think it's so that people can still try and make counterfeit money because it's like a common pastime. Like counterfeit money and prohibition.
my grandfather,
America.
right? My grandfather came up from the basement one time and handed my grandmother a couple bills because she was going shopping. And this is years back, like 7 years ago when they started the new bills. And she's like, "Oh, this feels brand new." He's like, "Well, it should. I just made them downstairs." I was like, "Damn, don't say that in a bank."
So maybe in Canada, if you get brand new bills like that, if you sniff them and they smell like beer or something else instead of maple syrup, it's counterfeit.
That would be awesome, though. I want the counterfeit shit then. I'm not a syrup guy, believe it or not. I'm a terrible Canadian.
Yeah, you're like you said, feel like you're in IHOP.
Yeah, and we don't even have IHOP out here, for fuck's sake.
Seriously?
Yeah, we have Denny's. Like, who the hell wants that?
Oh yeah, they kind of got rid of all of our Denny's. I don't know why. They've just I think it was probably their free choice. They closed their businesses, but we have very few. That used to be our hangout.
They migrated.
We had this one on East Sprague in Spokane, Washington, where I grew up, and we called it the U-High Denny's, and then we had U-High McDonald's. So we would always go to the U-High McDonald's after all the football games. Everybody went, didn't matter who you were. Somebody always got in a fight. So everybody would like, whoop, now it's time for the fight. And then they go out in the parking lot and a big circle of people around them. And I was a weirdo. They'd all run out there. And I remember I'm not going out there to watch these people fight. I would literally just this is stupid because these people are fighting about nothing. Everybody talked about how they're going to fight. And now everybody watches it. And people are just going to get in trouble. This is stupid. So I would just sit inside, and I remember thinking, I bet people think I'm a real dork because I don't go out there. But I'm like, now because of that, I will never go out there. I'm not even going to look. It was so weird. I was always like that with weird little things. I had friends. I wasn't like the most popular kid in school, but I had friends. Stuff like that conformity stuff just irked me. Right.
And I mean, imagine being able to say, "So I got my ass kicked in a Denny's parking lot." Life goals, right?
It's not that that's wrong. It's just that the fact that everybody gets around it, not even because they're interested, it's because they're supposed to. They're like little, ducks in a row, sheep.
Okay, I totally agree with you. There's just one exception that would get me out there. If I could witness someone get bitch slapped with a waffle, that would be the fucking greatest thing. Like that, I'm there for that. Bitch slap something, backhand him with a crepe or something. Like I'm definitely gonna.
You have a new definition for moons over my hammy. My hammy. Moons over your hammy, bitch.
Right? Somebody bludgeoned with a bagel. It just gets out of hand. Carbs are dangerous.
See? Bring back the Denny's. That could be their new ad campaign.
And ours are open 24 hours.
Oh, ours used to be too.
It's the drunk hangout, like after the bars and shit.
But my parents would never let me stay there that long. I would always break curfew. That always really pissed me off because my curfew was whatever it was. But my dad would say, "Well, okay, just so you know, if you're ever going to be late, please call us because otherwise we'll worry. Your curfew is whatever, 12 o'clock. But call us if you're going to be late. Otherwise we just worry and we think the worst." And so I would be at Denny's. We would have done our thing. You go to the football game, go to the U-High McDonald's, then you find your way over to Denny's. You're sitting there just with your friends, being a dork, drinking coffee and having like fries or a grilled cheese sandwich, and it's 11:50. It's like, oh crap. I really like enjoying the conversation of the same people that you hang out with all the time.
Right.
But it's way more fun when somebody's filling your cup with this coffee all night long. So I'd go to the phone, go to the little desk, call my parents. Hey, Dad, hello. I just wanted to call and let you know I was going to be late. The hell you're not going to be late? Get your ass home. Your curfew's in 10 minutes. And I'm like, what? I'm calling to say that I'm going to be late. I still am confused. Well, I'm not that confused because I have kids now, but that was a real whopper of one. It's like, but then I understood, because when you have kids and you're expecting them to come home and you're thinking the worst is going to happen, this little girl, she's going to get,
Right.
abducted or attacked or whatever. As a dad, you're like, you need to know that they're in the house.
Right.
Before you can actually sleep.
But
and you have a life. You can't stay up till 3 a.m. while she's drinking coffee at Denny's.
It's true.
Or Daddy can't do his job the next day.
But at that time, you're probably just thinking, oh, the deception. Like,
I know, psych. And then I get home, you're late. You're grounded. 10 minutes late. I told you I was going to be late.
See, my mouth would get me in shit because I'd be like, yeah, way to go, Nostradamus. I fucking called you and told you I'd be late. Like,
oh, yeah. Oh, my dad was so scary. I would smart off. And then I would get up to the point where he'd be like, ugh, blowing steam. Like, you could tell he's like amping up. And then I would run, because my bedroom didn't have a lock on the door. I would run into the bathroom and I would lock the door. And he'd be like screaming up against the door. Get your ass out here right now. You do not smart off to me. You do not talk to me that way. Get your ass out here. And I remember so many times looking at that door, like shuddering, and then looking behind me, and there's like a little mirror. And this is in a basement of our house. So the window. So it's a small window on a daylight basement. So it would be really hard to get up and out that window. But I'd be looking at it going, oh man, if he gets through that door, he is going to kill me. I will be murdered. I may have to go for the exit out the window to save my own life. And then when I became an adult, I go back into that bathroom. They still live there today. And I'm like, this door is so thin. And like if he really wanted to get through that door, all he had to do is just like go, pop. I mean, and I've this flimsy, the little lock where you go push, turn.
Yeah.
Like, whoa, I'm safe. Whoa, I'm safe. Wow, if he bursts the door down like Incredible Hulk, I'm going to jump out that window.
Yeah, those locks are not exactly like Alcatraz material.
But I made it. We have a great relationship.
I think, I totally get it, because my being a smart ass, my smart assery probably gets me in a lot more bullshit than I need to be in. But, I'm just a sarcastic bastard, and it's just, it just comes out. I remember back before all this, I was working at a place, and I was being trained by this guy, and he loved me right away because he's a smart ass bastard, but he felt like I kind of showed him what that really means, because he wanted me to grab a calculator to figure out this shipment, and I was like, all right. I grabbed it, and I'm like, it's not working. He's like, what do you mean it's not working? I was like, it's not working. So he's like, he takes it, he's like, oh, you know why? I said, why? It's like, and he slams it on the ground and it explodes in pieces, like, because it's fucking broken. And I just looked at him like deadpan right in the face, like, now you see, this is why we can't have nice things. And he fucking like died laughing, and I was like, that's just who I am, dude. Like, I'm not gonna bat an eye at this kind of shit. Like, it's just gonna make me do what I do, and sometimes maybe it's what gets me in some shit, but in business especially. But then again, people are like, well, we have to deal with it. When you got sponsors that want to kiss your ass and pretend they know who you are just so you endorse their shit. Here's a big paycheck. Here's free product. And they, oh, your career, this and that. I'm like, name one fucking thing I've done. I'll wait. You don't know shit. Stop kissing my ass. Like, it's so disingenuous. I hate it. That's what I hate about this business. It's like, you don't give a fuck about my career. You don't care about me or anything. You have an agenda. And I get that. That's business.
That's business. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
so that they can gain and build business.
Right. But be upfront about it. I'm not offended. I know how business works, but don't sit there and praise me like you're such a fan when you don't even know who the fuck I am, chances are.
Yeah. Be honest about your motive.
Right. You probably watch golf on the weekends, not MMA. Like, you don't, you probably go behind me and be like, oh, I don't like what he does. It's barbaric. Okay, cool. Well, took care of my fucking kids, like, so be it. That's everyone's entitled to what, how they feel about it. That's great. But don't bullshit me and be like, oh, I'm such a fan. No, you're not. Come on.
I think people have a hard time. It's embarrassing being direct. They think that that's going to be bad.
Yeah.
And, I mean, sometimes I don't want to be direct. Sometimes it's like awkward. What if they're just like, you assume how they're going to react. Instead, they could come to you and say, we want you to represent our brand because you have this look and people think you're this, and it would help us sell more products. And here's the offer, and here's how it's going to benefit you.
Right.
Not like, I've always been a huge fan and I love this and I did that too. Da da da. Like, what's wrong with just saying it like it is? You all know that they're trying to do marketing.
And it's really funny because you're absolutely a bajillion% right. And the reason I know that they're full of shit is because if they knew anything about me, they would know being direct is probably going to get my respect. I'm not going to be offended by it. I'm going to be like, oh, that's cool. We all got a job to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm doing my thing because I afforded myself that. You're doing your job, and I get that. And your job has a goal, get me to sign off on shit. Okay, that's cool. It doesn't mean you have to know who I am or what I've done or give a shit. Maybe you do know and you don't care. It's not your thing. That's great too. You can just say that. I'm not going to be bothered. There's a lot of people out there that, hell, people I'm personal friends with. I don't really care for the shit they've done personally, but it doesn't mean, I disrespect them or anything, or, it's just not my thing, and that's okay. They get that. Yeah. It's not a personal attack. Not everything is so dramatic and personal. And, I think people are too sensitive, and it's like, if you knew anything about me, first of all, if you ever saw my fucking show, you would know that I prefer someone just tell me straight, like, not for me. Cool. I respect that. Thanks for putting that out there instead of kissing my ass. It's like, I don't like that shit. Like, I don't need that. Like, I'm not better than you, like, don't do that. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's unsettling. I don't like it. It's just, it makes you feel like a douchebag when people act like you're so much better than them because they're doing their 9 to 5 and you're doing whatever the fuck you want,
Yeah.
I hate that. It's like, I'm just a dude with a cool job,
Yeah. It's again, something that you can't feel what it's like in somebody else's shoes unless you're in them. Like, they're in their shoes, you're in your shoes, and you have no personal life, right? Like, no private life, or you may have a personal life. I didn't mean it that way.
You're pretty
no privacy. I didn't mean to get into that one. We can go. It is uncensored. You could like.
Right. No, it is what it is. You're pretty fucking accurate.
Though, it's like, I don't know what, somebody posted something last week and I thought it was really, I'm terrible at like reciting jokes. It was on social media, but I'm still going to do it. No, this is not a joke. It was something like, it was on Facebook. Somebody posted, because those people who post like all the awesome stuff that's happening for them. Like, look how much weight I've lost. Look how pretty I look how successful my job is, blah, 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 showing off, right? So somebody's post was, before you hate on somebody because they're showing all of their successes, remember that they probably not all people post about the shitty parts. It weren't the successes, the losses and the pain. So just because they only show successes doesn't mean that they have not endured loss.
Exactly. And I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm an example of just that. And I even posted one time, success is like being pregnant. Everybody congratulates you, but nobody knows how many times you were fucked. You know what I mean? So it's the same thing. You're absolutely right. It's just that was a classier way of saying it than I did, but
That's awesome, though.
you know, it's just how it is. Nobody sees the shit behind it all. Like nobody, if I didn't do the documentary, or if I wasn't open about, you know, where I come from, no one would know, except for the people that know me.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like no one would know that at 15 I was in a position that I was in. And that I came through that, and now I'm doing this and everything else I want to pursue. I just have that, like, I've got people in every industry that's like, hey, you want to do this? Cool, let's do it. Here's your opportunity because you've earned it. You can do whatever the fuck you want. I'm like, all right, cool. I'll try it. If I suck, I'll be the first to say so. And I'll be like, all right, that wasn't for me, you know? But it's at a point where I get to do shit just for fun now, you know, and see if I enjoy it. So, but if I wasn't open about where I started out, then yeah, you know, people would have no idea and they'd think that it was handed to me or something. You know, everybody always likes to use that whole overnight success term.
Yeah.
And it's like, really? Do you know how long people have been grinding at this? You know, 9 times out of 10, it wasn't overnight. There are some rare exceptions, but that's not the rule.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, that's the exception to the rule. And that does happen. I mean, you look at certain people like, I'm not even trying to throw anybody under the bus or throw shade at anybody. If you can do it, great. That woman that did the whole Twilight thing with the books and whatever, and it was literally like an overnight thing where it just got published and it was like, bam, one day I'm rich. All right, cool. If that's how it works out for you, great. But that's not the rule. That's the exception.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of people will see something like that. If they want that fame and fortune, they're like, well, they didn't have to do anything for it. That just happened. So unfortunately, in the acting industry and music industry, any entertainment field, it's just not like that. It's a hard job. And most people have to start at the very beginning. And you have to be humble. And it's hard work. It's hard to stay doing what you're doing to get to where you want to go. That's why there's such a tiny top portion. But some people just want to grab onto that. It's going to happen just like that. So it's like, no, if you believe that, it's not going to happen because you're not going to be doing the work. Like you have to wait for that amazing opportunity. But at the same time, you got to do the work so that you get there either way.
Right. And I actually addressed that on the show before with somebody that I said it really pisses me off. It truly breaks my heart, to be honest, that I know so many talented people that just are like, oh, it'll happen for me one day. It'll happen for me one day. I'm like, okay, really? Will it? Well, all right, good luck with that. While you wait for it to happen for you, I'm going to go make it happen. No one's going to discover you on your couch, bro. If you're not putting your talent out there, who the fuck's going to find it? You can't just wait for it to, if it's meant to work, it will. From where? You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to have agents and shit come to your door because they get this radar that this house has talent in it, sitting on the couch doing nothing with it, you know, waiting to be discovered by who? Some peeping Tom? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's the only way you're going to get discovered is this guy's a pervert looking in your windows and have to catch some of your talent. Like, otherwise, it's probably not going to work that way. I'm going to go make it happen. I'm going to go make sure people know who the hell I am and get my name out there and get opportunities and make doors open.
Yeah.
No one's going to open the door if you ain't knocking. You know, I just don't get that mentality of sitting around waiting for something to happen. That's just, how do you feel it's going to happen?
Yeah. It's almost like, similar to just any business. A lot of people, you know, in a hierarchy of business, maybe they're, working in an office, individual contributor, and they want that management position. And they're like, I've been here for this long and I am excellent at my job. Why did that person just get a promotion? Like, you don't get it. You don't just get promoted. That's what they say. You have to go do that job before you get that title.
That's right.
Like, you've got to go be the manager, politely, of course, but you've got to prove it without being paid. That's just the way it is. Why would you just pluck, if you were owned a business, why would you say, wow, you sitting at that desk doing an excellent job at what you do, I'm going to have you do all of this stuff that you've never done.
Right.
And it's really important to my business, and you're going to be excellent. It's like, no, they have to develop the skill set. It's work, like acting. I mean, yeah, maybe there's going to be a special person like, ooh, they're going to be amazing in this film. But for the most part, you have to go out and get a lot of experience so that you know how to work on, you know, particular sets. There's so many tiny little idiosyncrasies that you have to deal with.
Right. And, you know, back in the day, I was a warehouse manager, and I had somebody ask me, you know, like, I noticed you're praising this person all the time, telling them what a good job they did and whatever, and thanking them. But I feel like I don't get that from you. But they do. And I'm just curious, like, why is that? I was like, oh, you think it's favoritism, right? I said, let me tell you, I thank them because they don't just do their job. They take initiative and do things that they see needs to be done that's not necessarily in their job description. You come in, you do your job, and you do it well, but your reward is your paycheck. They're doing their job and then some. They're
Right.
taking a load off of me because I've got other things to oversee, and they see something needs to be done. It's not their job description, but they know how to do it, so they just do it. They don't wait to be asked. So I thank them for putting in the extra effort. They're not getting paid anymore to do it. You know what I mean? They're just doing it because they see it needs to be done, and
Yeah.
they feel like it's a team effort. So yeah, I'm gonna thank them. You know,
That's like a life lesson. I mean, I remember working in the restaurant industry, just in fast food when I was 16. And the place that I worked at had this term, I don't know if it's a restaurant term, but they called it hands in, hands out.
right?
So if you're delivering some food or whatever you're doing, you've got stuff in your hands on the way out to deliver it where it needs to go. On your way back, grab things that need to go back in the direction that you're headed, even if they're not yours.
Exactly.
So, and stay busy. It's like a lot of people back then, managers really on me because, and I did everything. There's no customers. I'm a cashier. I rang them all up, and they're mad at me for standing around. I'm in charge of the cash register. I have to be right here in case somebody needs to pay. Why should I go clean the windows that are already clean or whatever? It's like, I don't know. Do it. There's work to be done. Go clean some tables. It's just, how can you just stand there watching whoever's supposed to be cleaning tables, working their ass off, not able to keep up with the dirty tables while you're watching? Go help them clean the damn tables.
Exactly.
Like,
The people that don't get promoted are the ones with the "that's not my job" mentality.
yeah.
You know, when there's other people that, yeah, it slows down, whatever, they grab a broom and they start cleaning up, you know, just to keep busy. That's the people that, as management, you got your eye on. You didn't
Yeah.
ask them to do that. They just took the initiative and did it. And
Ownership mentality.
right. And that's what you look for. So you're absolutely right in saying that, because, you know, that's what it is. It's what sets people apart. There's two types of people. Well, that's three, because then there's the useless sacks of shit.
And the ones that are jerks.
Right. They want to just show up and get paid. You know, I'm here. What more do you want from me? You know, like, maybe do something. That'd be cool. You know, that would just be the cat's pajamas if you maybe do your job. That'd be, you know?
All this has probably changed though now. Think of how much change there is in this pandemic, at least in our country here. So many jobs that were always done in the office are now being done from home. And I don't think they're ever going to go back to offices. I mean, not only is it saving the office's money on overhead, it's, you know, they've proven to be productive. And so there's not a lot of this weird office politics now. I mean, restaurants are still going, not as well as they probably should be, but me particularly, I've just transitioned to Uber Eats and Grubhub favorite restaurants, they just bring the shit over.
Right.
And for a while there, they would even bring cocktails. Like, I didn't order them. I have my own supplies, but seriously. So we have to support our local restaurants and still get the food that you'd normally be doing so that they can stay in business. But now I'm like, what would I do if I went to a restaurant? I'm kind of worried. It's like, I haven't had a cold in a year. Like, have you even sneezed? I mean, I'll sneeze with dust, but geez.
Right.
Haven't even had a cold. It's kind of nice not getting regular little viruses.
Right. It's funny. I never get sick anyway. So, well, I'm like, here you go into restaurants and it's so stupid, but they want you to wear a mask from basically the door to your table. Then when you're sitting, you take it off and it's fine. It's like, it's almost redundant. Like,
yeah, it's like, but you're going to let me breathe air, and
right.
it's air moves. It's going to go over there, even though they're 6 feet away.
Right. Well, a little bit bizarre, but I still go out and I do whatever, but not often, but and it is weird. It's definitely weird. It's different, and yeah, the capacity levels have changed and things like that, but it's almost kind of nice to go out and not be surrounded by people, and it's a little more dead, and it's like, okay, this is cool. But yeah, it does affect a lot of businesses. A lot have shut down. A lot of them just have had terrible experiences with all this, like financially just getting hit hard, so yeah, it's unfortunate for them. But there are some that transition that, like you said, they'll just deliver it to you. And if they wouldn't otherwise in the past, it's like we do now. And yeah, we'll bring booze, we'll bring whatever you want. Just, so that's cool.
I wish I would bought stock in some of those delivery places. What a dumb mistake. I didn't even think about it.
If only we saw this coming,
We did. It's like, that's the funny thing. It's like, okay, it's happening. I'm in Kirkland, Washington, so this is like the epicenter. So in the US, when they first said first fatality, it was like here. It was like here in Seattle. And then all of a sudden, right down the road, it's like whatever the adult care facility, they started passing. It was like all those people died right down the street. So it was like, whoa. It's like, this is crazy. But we're on lockdown only for 6 weeks. And then after 6 weeks, it's longer. And my brain was still like, this summer, everything it will resolve because everybody will have fresh air. They won't be having to be inside as much. It will naturally dissolve. Everybody's kind of helping by, using masks and all of that. But just kind of extend. And then I don't know why it's kept catching me by surprise. I mean, cough, cold season. And then our schools started talking about, like in September, yeah, we're going to have the kids come back in December or January. And I'm like, the numbers were still high on viruses. Now, why would that be a realistic prediction? Because that's when cough, cold season is going to happen. Yeah. Cold flu season, sorry. So then anytime, and all the rules, not having a fever or whatever, anytime anybody has anything wrong, it could be just a cold, they're going to be sent back home to quarantine for 2 weeks, just in case.
Exactly.
So it's like, what's that? It's just going to be people moving in and out. Achoo, get out. You can't take your mask off to blow your nose, little Johnny. Like, now your nose is running because you're crying. Okay, we need you to come get your child. They're assembled in a little bubble outside on the front porch of the school. Pick them up with the forklift and take them back.
Right. And it's so ridiculous to me when politicians wouldn't even meet in the same building because they're so concerned for their safety, but they want to open schools again. So for the kids, it's fine, but for us, no, it's not safe. That just looks really fucked up to me.
Yeah. It's weird. I have friends with little kids. Actually, a friend of my daughter's mom is a school teacher. She teaches in high school, but one of her kids is first first grader, second grader, but he's one of the ones where these little kids, it's almost impossible to get them to do the school remotely. I mean, it's really hard. So they've been trying really hard to get at least the young ones and phase them into schools. And I feel the pain. But at the same time, teachers, you're putting entire families at risk, by having people go before they've been vaccinated or before it's like this shit is gone.
Right.
What if they go get sick and then go get their mother sick, the elderly mom that's, it's just like, come on.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't agree with any of it. I mean, it's they know the risks and they're doing it anyway. And I think that's kind of nuts, especially with kids. It just shouldn't be risked. And obviously my perspective comes from a certain place. So specifically, when it comes to kids, I'm protective of, so I think that it's premature on their part. And I get that the whole distant learning thing is kind of different, but it's manageable.
Mm-hmm.
I just wonder, for the families that are less fortunate that can't even afford to have a computer, how do they go about this?
Right. So our districts here provide the kids with computers. So they provide them. But I think one of the first issues was having Wi-Fi access. So some people can't afford to have that, or if they can't keep their cell phone bill paid, they can't even go on a hotspot. I mean, the struggle is real. So I think they were trying to get those kids like hotspots or wireless things. So, I mean, it's things you didn't even have to predict a school district would have to provide services for. So once you take care of the electronics, what about the kids who live in an apartment with 20 other people?
Right.
They're supposed to be on this Zoom meeting, participating. And people are violent, screaming. They don't even have a closet. Like, they're sleeping on the floor. Like, they don't have the privacy, the luxury of being able to open a laptop like I have right here and talk privately and do their schoolwork.
Exactly.
Like lack of space and privacy. Like it's such a big, really shows the inequities, amongst humans.
I mean, you guys got a lot of shit going on over there to deal with, and I feel so bad for you because it's like it's one thing after another.
The worst is we can't even go to Canada.
Right?
Let us in.
I'm offering a service. I was talking to my buddy Mick Strong, and he was doing I just got his book that he wrote about working on the set of Nightmare on Elm Street 4.
Mm-hmm.
And he's kind of fed up with everything out there. So he finished his book and whatever. He's got nothing much else. Well, he's doing a movie though. But I said, hey man, I'll go get a windowless van and I'll come over there and just pick all you guys up and bring it back. And
you just go through the truck crossing, but go a little on the side. Hope that the fence wasn't built on blocking Canada.
Right, and he was laughing because he busts my balls every chance he gets. This is like our relationship. This is what we do. We pick on each other. So when he was on my show for like the third time, he posted it and said, this is my special needs friend from the special needs country, but he's doing the best he can. And I was like, you know what? Now the Canadian border from your side just needs to be like a giant wheelchair accessible ramp. So if they work on that for me, it'll be a pretty easy escape. Just kind of to hazard that shit off the ramp. And
the passcode is maple syrup.
Sorry, eh?
Sorry. BYOP, bring your own pancake.
I even said to him, I was like, if the kind of shit happened here that happened over there with that raid.
Oh my God.
I said, if that happened here, at least we'd be really apologetic about it.
Yeah, yeah. Military would be right there for it.
Sorry, eh?
That happened literally an hour after that happened. I'm like, oh no. My friend Holly, they're in Prince George. I'm like, I can just imagine what they're going to be doing when they see this. And literally, like, she made this Facebook post. I just have got to put everything down for the day. I'm going to sit down, turn on that TV, and I'm going to make some popcorn. I saw the post and I think I responded with just like a crying face emoji. And most of her friends are Canadian. She's not a huge social media, but she immediately responds. She's like, oh my God, Jessica, are you okay? Holy crap. This must be so awful. You must be so horrified this is happening in your own country. I've been really worried about you and Beverly. And my friend Beverly lives in the Bay Area. And she responds back to the post, hey, just an FYI, remember, I'm not a US citizen. I'm from the UK. And I'm like, thanks a lot, guys.
And then Canada's attitude towards the whole thing, probably the way we are, is like, you just see all this like violence and raiding the damn place, and we're just sitting here like, well, that's not polite.
It's true though. Can't we just be friends?
It's or we're just waiting to see someone jersey somebody and just
See, I think a lot more people here need to play hockey.
Right, they'd be less aggressive.
Yeah, do it the Canadian way.
And the funny thing is, there's more fucking American teams than there are Canadian teams, for fuck's sakes. We keep losing them to Americans. It's like, this used to be, Quebec, but fuck Quebec anyway. They don't like it. I don't like them. But now it's Colorado. Okay, what the fuck? It's like,
They're building a whole ice arena right in Seattle. I did a photo shoot there last week, and there was this amazing, like, crazy 70s style mural painted. And I was like, oh yeah, let's take some pictures over there to the photographer. And then I realized, oh, this is an entire construction wall barricading in the new arena. I'm just like, ooh, cool photo op. Oh God, that's right. We're taking hockey away from Canada.
Right? We can't have nice things, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting. Someone throws a punch and the other player just pulls out a gun, like, not today, buddy. That's when we know it's become American officially. As he's getting a penalty, I know my rights.
Oh, I can just imagine it. All the little kids with the U.S. kids with the helicopter moms that are overprotective, and that kid ends up playing hockey, and the kid's like, "You're not supposed to do that." And then their mom's on the sideline, "You can't hit my baby." It's going to be a whole new sport by the time we're done with it.
Oh my God, it's so true. It's just going to be awful. Or great. I don't know. I mean,
who knows?
Entertaining as shit for a while.
All I know is that we won't be seeing it in person for a while. We have to watch on TV.
That is true. I mean, here in Canada, it's our own fucking sport. We don't win nothing anyway, so it's fine. I find myself watching more football than hockey, for fuck's sakes.
It's because they're really good at making that crowd noise sound real.
It's better than nothing. Right. And at least, my teams in football actually win once in a while. That's nice. I'm a Philly guy, so even with hockey though, I love Detroit because at least they win once in a while. Toronto sucks. Fucking embarrassment.
Oh.
But it's such a business thing because they sell tickets like nonstop, even though they haven't won a damn thing since the 50s. or 60s or whatever the fuck it was. And people still support them no matter what. They still have this delusion of, oh, this is the year. Really? Okay.
Well, the thing is, it's so competitive to get tickets. I mean, they're so expensive now. So like the Seahawks, like you have to get season tickets if you really want to go regularly. So a lot of people kept paying for their tickets for years and years and years when they sucked, just so that they would have tickets for when they get good. Because otherwise, if you sit on the sidelines and don't get them, then you have to pay like $500 for a seat to go to a game.
Right.
And
I mean, Toronto's got it down to a business science because they'll manipulate fans by getting players that were great in their time, but they're way under their prime. So they'll get them for cheap. Then they'll get young kids to make it look like there's some energy to the team, but they're so inexperienced. They're not good yet. They will be, but they're not. And they get them for dirt. So they're making stupid amounts of money, spending very little. And why would you fix that if it ain't broken? At the end of the day, it's a business.
Right.
If you're still going to have that support regardless, when it starts to dwindle, they'll get a decent team that actually might win something. But, just to get people put money back in. But until then, why would you kind of jeopardize your profit margins? You can't be mad at it in a way.
I don't know. Like I think it depends on who's in charge because like I can't imagine sitting there and being happy if I were in charge of that team, just saying, wow, it's making money, but we're losers. Like that would hit your pride. I mean, you'd be like, wow, they're still losers. So I have faith. They've got to have some kind of energy in there. Otherwise, why are they in the business of sports?
I mean, I feel like after 50 years of losing everything all the time, people are so used to it that it's like, it's fine. Let me make my money.
That's the fun part. Maybe we're thinking of it wrong.
Maybe we're just
how horribly can we lose this time?
Right? Like let's just botch this like 36-0. Let's just fucking throw it in.
I think there was a show years ago. Was it called King of the Losers? Or was that just something that we started talking about? Like when you do a basketball tournament or something and you lose all the losers from the first round. They're like heroes and then they get their own little loser bracket. It's like, and then when you win all of those, then you're king of the losers. But I think there was a show, wasn't there?
I think so. Something like that.
Losers.
Because I remember laughing about it. I'm like, imagine the goal is to just fail spectacularly. Like, that's cool. Like, no matter what you attempt, just shit the bed completely on it. Like, that's the goal. Embarrass yourself. Why not? It's so stupid, but it's funny. Oh
Must have been at the beginning of reality TV. It was when the world changed.
Oh my God, not for the better either.
So weird.
People bought in that it's real. It's like, really?
Yeah.
If that's not scripted, what the hell is? It's like saying
one of my daughters is a singer, and she's been working she's wanted to be a singer since she was a little baby, but she's been working really hard for the last few years trying to get like albums and contracts. So she's releasing songs now, but she's now last year kind of made the circuit of all of those singing shows, the entertainment, shows, the American Idol and The Voice and all of that. Boy, those are business. Like, it doesn't happen the way it looks like on TV. It's fascinating, but it's just one avenue of having success, and it's all part of marketing and getting discovered. It's like she can make music and release songs, but you can also then get more people to know who the hell you are by being on one of those shows or being associated with it, and even just being with the producers, even if you don't get on air. So then they will see your music and grow. I mean, it's definitely a business, and it's always interesting to have that curtain pulled back and actually see how everything works. And
Yeah, it certainly changes your perception because it's like, oh, I see this on TV and it's this certain way. It's like, no, it's far from it. And that could either fascinate you or it could be disheartening depending on how you look at it. Because
Yeah.
some people, they want to buy into the image that they see on TV and whatever, and then it's so different and probably nowhere near as pleasant as it seems at times, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And because business sometimes can be pretty cutthroat. So, it's especially for a kid to see that, just be like, whoa. It's kind of an eye opener. And I think it's kind of a grim reality of like, they learn quick. They grow up fast with that kind of exposure because it's
Yep.
like, okay, not everything's as it seems. And now you have to, I think that's the best lesson to learn in that business, in entertainment business, especially.
Yeah.
You could see movies where it seems like people have the greatest chemistry, and then you find out they couldn't stand each other.
Right.
And
But on screen, it was magic.
right, it was like, man, they're probably like best friends for real because that seems so legit. And then you find out they really didn't even want to work with each other and couldn't stand each other and were constantly fighting. And it's like, really? Like, it's a deceptive business, man, which I mean, kind of shows when you do your job well. No one knows, but that's crazy. I couldn't imagine being at that age, especially kind of exposed to that. I'm sick of it in my 30s.
Luckily, these young kids have the energy still. I forget what that's like when she's 19 as well. So, going after it and, doing all of the social media stuff, setting up ads, doing Zoom calls with producers for shows, sending them in your songs for approval before you, maybe go on the show. All of that stuff. It's like, oh, that sounds exhausting, but that's her job.
Right.
Right. I forget that. No, actually, now she is going to school. She's starting school this week, college. So, but you forget, like for the last year, just doing music, not being in school after graduating high school, like you should be working hard.
Yeah.
That's your job.
Right.
You don't get paid. It's kind of like being an actor in Seattle.
Right. Yeah.
I'm just waiting for, Procter & Gamble to have me be like the tampon spokesperson.
Let me say
You beat me to the job.
Oh, no, I'll put in a good word.
Repping that brand.
I'll let you have that one.
I'm telling you, I think they're missing the boat by not doing this alternative advertising.
I swear to God, if next week you see me on TV, just mind your business, all right?
Oh man, what a sellout. I knew it when I met him. That's a sellout right there.
That was my idea too, the bastard.
He's a white male. He's taking away a job from a woman.
That'll be the first thing on social media that would be said too.
Yep.
I guarantee it.
And it's an American woman. We feel sorry for them. A Canadian man.
New maple Tampax.
Ew.
Yeah, Tampax. Sorry, eh? We're taking over.
That's too much.
This time it's red and white before it's used and after as well.
New color changing.
Right? When
You can tell when it's been used.
when the maple leaf appears, it's time to change her up, man.
Oh.
God. So just send me your therapy bill and I'll cover that. It's the least I can do.
It hurts. Oh my God. It's good to laugh.
Shit. You got anything you want to promote? Because we haven't done that, and I've taken up like 2 fucking hours of your time. I feel awful.
Oh, don't feel awful. I'm having a great time. I've probably taken up too much of your time.
I got nothing going on except for a Tampax commercial coming up soon.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
If I'm lucky, if they call.
No, you first, to get those commercial gigs, you have to do self-tape auditions.
Yeah, that's true. So
Yeah, so you have to do your self-tape audition for the Tampax ads so that they can promote you to the next level to give you an actual live Zoom audition.
you're gonna see some weird shit. Just be cool about it.
Please post it on social media.
Oh, of course. Do it on Facebook Live, so that way there's added pressure. You got to get it right the first time.
And take a poll. Yeah. So as far as film here in Seattle, we are, we're kind of back and forth whether we can be on set or not. And it's like pretty much at first, everything was just shut down. Then we had a little period last fall where production started opening up a little bit. And so we'd go on small sets, but then people were wearing masks, not wearing masks. It was like this kind of fuzzy zone. And so then there's, it starts, people pressure each other because people who have big, huge projects that are on hold because they're large, and like there were rules. You could only have like 5 people on a set and everybody has to be masked. And then they made the COVID test rules and signatures and temperature checks and everything. So the bigger projects just literally can't follow the rules. Either that or they have to remake the whole thing to cut down the number of cast or whatever. So they just wait. So people start we got infighting, I saw somebody's post on social media behind the scenes stuff and they weren't wearing masks. Right. And then you've got all the people like, how dare you do that? You're ruining it for the whole industry. If that gets out, the state of Washington's going to shut everything down. And this is our livelihood. Some people just play around with this stuff. It's like, come on. Oh God. So it's like, I'm like this, whoop, whoop. So I've been able to be on set a few times since the COVID. Now we have COVID safety officers, and you have to be compliant. You just have to. Like, there has to be an officer there. They walk around, they make sure that you're not standing too close to somebody. It sounds ridiculous, but it's what it takes. Yeah. I mean, otherwise people are, they're going to get sick, and then it just keeps going. So I get to be on set tomorrow, just a really small group doing a couple little indie films for a film festival with a group that I've worked with a bit. But I kind of started doing a lot of photo shoots starting last summer. A photographer just kind of saw me on Facebook and said, hey, we should shoot sometime. Posted a lot of stuff. So I'm like, okay, I've never done that kind of thing. And, just as a collaborative thing. So I model, he takes pictures and then uses them for, advertisement for his photography company, and ended up hitting it off. And then started doing some creative stuff. We did this thing called Lady of the Lake. And
I saw that. I saw some pictures, and you look great. I love it.
We just like had this like brain meld. Let's do something. I want to do a set, like a photo shoot in the water, kind of creepy. And then he's like, and I have this perfect place and it can look like you're floating on top of water. Get a parachute. And I'm like, huh? And then, yeah, you can wear it as a skirt. So then we go get a parachute. The thing is, it's a military parachute from Vietnam. And it's, what was that thing? 38 feet wide, 38 feet wide. And I end up trying to make it into a dress. I mean, it was crazy fun project. But what I discovered was I didn't grow up wanting to be a model, but it gave me a creative outlet where I didn't realize how pent up. I mean, I have this list of projects that I can't go film, that they're just sitting there. We're like, oh gosh, please. And then what's happening? And then, still everybody's working in the background, making new projects, casting, all of that. But we're just sitting at home. We're like, I want to act. I want to get to set. I want to create. So it's fun. So photography became kind of a thing because you could do it just with one person, so outside.
Exactly. Art's art. I mean,
yeah.
You're crafty as hell, by the way. I caught that. You're slick. I caught that. Talking about acting, trying to steal my Tampax commercial because you said we had a small period back in October. I caught that. I knew that was a subliminal message. Takes my opportunity from me.
See, I'm the better spokesperson from it. You cannot steal a job from a woman in America. We have a female vice president now. Like, we need to continue to grow.
Game on, America. Let's do this. That's
I guess if we're taking over the executive positions in the country, we can give men some of our more female-oriented commercial roles.
This is how it's going to be now. It's a competition between us. So whenever we address each other now, I'll be like, "What's up, America?" It's competitive now. This is
What's up, Still?
Don't make me take that from you too. I've already got audition footage. I mean, yeah.
Creative advertising.
They're gonna sue me. Not hire me. Get a cease and desist. Just please stop.
Jeez. I think it would be funny as heck.
Oh, I would post the hell out of that if they did. I'd be like, "Look at this. Vagisil's upset." They got sand in their Vagisil. They're not happy with me. I can't. There goes that career path.
Oh, no.
It's all yours, America.
Oh, yeah.
Good Lord. I'm going to hell.
You'll have company, good company, lots of laughs. Not everybody can go to heaven. I mean, maybe all dogs go to heaven, but people, not sure about that.
I don't know if I even want to at this point, because if I get up there, the first thing is just, dude, what the fuck? I'm going to have
you're going to be like, dude, this is just like in high school.
Yeah.
All the teachers like, you're not doing it right.
First thing you hear when you make it upstairs, what the fuck's wrong with you? You have so much to answer for. Imagine they just play back everything and they're like, really? What the Vagisil? Come on, man.
Well, it would be a good place as long as it wasn't censored.
Oh my God. It's you never know. Maybe I'll end up doing that Tam commercial.
Well, everybody's got to pay their bills.
Maybe they'll sue me, but Kotex will be like, "Hey, we got you."
You could get into bidding war,
That's true. That's what I'm trying to do. Just start shouting out different company names and just like, all yours, whoever pays the most.
You have like a fight scene where somebody starts bleeding and somebody's sweating and it looks like they probably have kind of a not so fresh feeling. You could do like a combo ad. Everybody has those moments. They're not so fresh.
A bar fight, you get punted in the taint. You get punted in the taint and you're like, "Oh, time out. You gotta change my pad." That ends a bar fight immediately because the fuck.
Like, okay.
They break a bottle. You're like, "Time out. I gotta change my pad, bro." They probably leave you the hell alone and just exit out the back or something at that point, trying to get the hell out of there.
Yeah, probably. You're too funny.
God damn. I don't know what's wrong with me, but like I said, send me your therapy bill. I owe it to you. You're gonna need it after this conversation.
Who's gonna need therapy?
You're gonna listen back to it and be like, "What the fuck? There goes my career." Oh my God.
I've always belonged in comedy. I just know it.
Well, there you go. We definitely got to work together sometime. That'd be cool as hell.
That would be really awesome.
Imagine how fun that set would be, because
Oh God.
I'm an idiot. So.
Yeah, they'd be like, oh my God. Set etiquette, please stop talking. It'd be back in high school. It's like, oh, they don't like us. You're not doing it right. You're an idiot. You get fired.
You can't talk to me like that when I'm not feeling so fresh. So insensitive.
And we could work in it could be the American pharmaceutical ads too. The antidepressants. When you feel emotionally distressed.
Right. Medication. Get him on some. It's not even brand specific at this point. They're just like, he needs something. Somebody step in. Holy fuck. Oh my God. I've taken up so much of your time now.
That's all right. What are you going to do with the rest of your day?
Probably audition for that fucking commercial now. I don't even know at this point. It's like it's almost 6:30. I've done nothing today. I legit went to bed at 9 a.m. So
What?
yeah, shit happens.
Oh my gosh.
Right? And I was like, that's okay. I'll get like a couple hours and then I'm good, and I'll come on here and make you regret your life decisions. And
No, this is perfect because after this, I've got to do a self-tape audition. Literally,
I knew it.
I don't know if it's a good career move, but it's an audition for a YouTube channel thing that is about disembodied. It's called Some Assembly Required, and it's women, like, they pop off their heads like to pick hair outfits and stuff like that, and I saw it and I'm like, oh my gosh. So I have an audition for it just because it's so strange. So it'll literally be filmed and then they edit it so that your heads are sitting on a shelf and they're talking to each other, and they're like, you pull one off and grab another one and you put it on and it changes your personality and look. They have different actors. So I have to send in an audition, self-tape, where I'm pretending to have my head on the counter like this. Then I have to do another take for 30 seconds where I'm like looking over and figuring out which head I'm going to use.
Wow. I feel like all of that was just code for I'm taking your audition. I just created some shit off the top of my head about it. But really, it's Tampax. I'm not telling you that, though. I'll just create something and be like, yeah, there's this weird thing I'm doing. It's called stealing your thunder, bro.
I really am going to do it.
I knew it.
I'm going to get the job.
Probably. And I'm going to see it and I'm going to be like, oh, we're not cool now. It's drama now. Imagine posting that, like, this motherfucker stole my Tampax commercial. You're a dude. What the fuck are you talking about? Shut up. Mind your business. It's 2020.
Shut up.
It's 2021. Don't judge me.
Don't judge me. I don't feel very good.
I don't feel so fresh. It's her fault. Some giant Vagisil bottle comes up beside me, puts an arm around me. There, buddy. It'll be okay.
You're going to be okay.
All this drama is really just a ruse for an audition of another sort. See? Vagisil comforts you and makes you fresh. When some dick steals your audition.
Now maple scented.
Right. Sorry, eh?
Maple scented for our Canadian friends.
Oh, no, never mind. That was maple syrup, and now I have a mess to clean up. I mixed up my Imagine Still with my Aunt Jemima again. God damn it! Now maple syrup.
Boy, if you smelled that much like maple syrup, you might as well go work for Uber Eats. You
Right.
just say, IHOP's here for delivery.
This isn't what I ordered. Well, it's what you're fucking gonna get. Oh my god. You gotta treat these people like children sometimes. You're gonna eat it or you get nothing. This is what no sleep does to somebody.
Yeah,
That's my excuse.
it's a plan.
I'm naturally an idiot, but that's my excuse because you don't know any difference. You'll get used to it. Be like, no, you're just dumb.
This is what tired looks like. Wow.
Right? I'm all right. Not too shabby. I got a little rest. I'm good.
Well, thank you for having me on. It has been an absolute pleasure. Like I said, it's so good to laugh. And it's so good to talk to somebody who's like a real person. Like, who knew we were going to meet? And now we're going to make feminine ads together.
Of course we are. It's been an absolute honor on my end. I would advise you to make sure you don't mix up your Vagisil with Aunt Jemima. Or go ahead. Whatever you want. Teach their own. I mean, hey, maybe that's a thing. Instead of Vagisil, a little maple syrup. Instead of a pad, you throw a pancake. You know?
I think you're definitely onto something there.
Yeah, probably crack. I mean, on something you mean, sure.
It's better you're hungry.
Maybe.
You're never going to eat pancakes again.
Absolutely not. I know where they've been now. So
Especially knowing that you really, really want to see somebody bitch slapped with a waffle.
that is true. That is true. Or a waffle iron, whatever, man. Whatever's handy.
Against breakfast sweets altogether.
Right? Take your diabetic shit out of here, man. Ain't nobody trying to catch the beatus. I feel awful. I used to mock Wilford Brimley so hard. Have you ever seen that video of the diabetes cat?
No.
Oh my god, I'm sending that to you. It's the greatest. It's Wilford Brimley's voice, but it's a cat, and it's so damn funny.
I'm still getting over the cat on the Roomba videos.
Oh, those are great too.
Those are so awesome.
Right. I swear, I had a Roomba. The fucking thing made me look productive. It was useless.
I know all it does is it runs around the house and bumps into walls, and then it goes, oh.
Oh my god!
Roomba's brushes.
Before I go, I gotta tell you, because you probably haven't seen it, but there's a video that a dude rigged up a Roomba that screams obscenities and shit when it hits things.
What?
And it's the funniest thing. It just sounds so cruel because this thing hits a wall. It's like, ah, fuck. And then, why was I made this way?
Ouch, why didn't you tell me there were stairs? Damn it, it hurts to fall down these.
It's so good. It just screams obscenities and shit.
When a Roomba and Tourette's syndrome are combined.
Right? Oh my god, I'm starting a new business. Roomba's just going along the living room. Piss! just random obscenities. Back to still. Oh my god. I don't know why you wasted so much of your time.
I needed to laugh.
2.5 hours of just bullshit.
I can't wait to see you edit it all.
I don't edit a fucking thing unless Imagine it's just all beeping, just censor everything. No products, no. But only when you say it, so that way I get that one up, so I get the opportunity.
Hashtag da-da-da, hashtag tampon, hashtag.
And then I'll just tell them she didn't want to be tied to you guys because you're not paying her, so she had me censor every time she said your product name. Trying to put that old knife in the back, right?
One of these days, I'm going to get out of the way of the knife before it gets lodged in my back.
Right. Just not today.
Today's not my day. Hey. I'm sorry.
Don't worry. When it bleeds, I'll just put a pad on it. I'll probably get them for free at that point. So, you know.
It's part of the deal.
I'll hook you up with a box or two, you know.
I'm sending you some.
Such a giver, you know.
Anything for you.
Right. Thanks so much for your time. This was an absolute blast. We have to do this again.
Yes, for sure.
Literally whenever the hell you want. I don't care. We'll do it.
Sounds awesome, man. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. It'll be more of the same. I'm sure.
Excellent. I'm sure the world wants to hear more.
Oh, of course. Or not, but whatever. Fuck them. Can't please everybody. Today it's about us. Good luck with your audition for that thing. And
Yeah, thank you.
if I see you on Tampax commercials, we're gonna throw down.
I know I don't look tough, but I could take you.
I know.
Baby.
You know.
Training.
And I'm probably gonna have like syrup in all the wrong places at the time, so that'll be my built-in excuse. I wasn't ready. I wasn't so fresh that day. I was self-conscious.
I won't sabotage you. It'll be a fair fight.
Fair enough. You get a waffle in your back pocket just waiting to be used.
Whack!
It's got bread knuckles. Get clubbed with a crepe. Get shanked with a crepe. Oh, fuck. I appreciate the hell out of you. This was a blast. Thanks so much for your time. It's been 2.5 hours of it, so god damn.
Sure.
So
Awesome.
life owes you that audition to go well now because you just fucking wasted so much valuable time on my ass.
Laughs on me and you.
Right? Thanks again. I appreciate it. It's been a blast. Let's do this again.
You bet. Can't wait.
All right. See you later. Have fun.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, y'all. So that was Jessica Thompson. I mean, come on, man. For those of you watching the visual, how stunning is she? Honestly. Good God, am I right? Like, if there's one thing that burns my ass, it's when you have a guest on your show that's prettier than you are. So for me, that's pretty much every fucking guest. This blows. Oh man, she's a badass. So talented, it's ridiculous. Super funny, super chill, easy to get along with, and just one of the most amazing people I've had the privilege of meeting while doing this show. I couldn't be more honored to have her on and to have her come back and to call her my friend. And I look forward to doing this again, dude. We went 2.5 hours and we're still like, yo, I could still go. It was just a hilarious conversation near the end there, especially. And it was just a blast to do. I wasn't thinking of the time, and then I realized how much of her time I was taking up, and I felt like shit. Because, you know, these people got things to do, man. And so do I, but I don't give a fuck. I do what I enjoy, and I enjoy this. I got a whole, you know, slew of fucking employees that can take care of the business stuff. I wanted to enjoy this conversation and just enjoy this guest, and I did. So, thankfully I didn't take up all her time and make her miss anything she had to do, but we talked a bit after the fact too, and it was great. A lot of laughs, man. And there goes my motherfucking phone. So, that's nice. So, if you see me out, I owe you a beer. If you call me on this shit, if you heard the show, heard my phone, and someone's getting fired over this, let me tell you right now. Alright, y'all. I will catch your asses later.
I will not speak to your smallness, a destruction of the fear in us. I have yet to know what I